If your neck constantly feels tight, heavy, or like it seems to be doing all the work, there's a good chance that your rib cage isn't doing its job right. And when the ribs check out, the neck has to step in, and all that compensation creates a cascade of tension, pain, and increased risk of injury across your whole upper body. Hi, I'm Alexis Weidland, osteopath and co-founder of BlossomingMe and Healthy Learning Lounge. Today, I wanted to unpack the real mechanics behind ribcage dysfunction and chronic neck tension so that you can finally understand why this pain keeps returning and how your body is trying to hold itself together the only way that it knows how. Your ribcage does a lot more than just protect your lungs and heart. When working well, it supports breathing, allowing the diaphragm to drop and the ribs to expand. It allows rotation and side bending, especially important in how it connects with your thoracic spine. Reaching and lifting. It anchors movement for and from your shoulder girdle. Posture and stability. It is the center of your upper body's control mechanism. It allows balance and stability as well as transfer of movement from upper and lower body. But when the rib cage becomes stiff, collapsed, or unbalanced, the neck, especially those small stabilizing muscles, they have to step in to compensate. When breathing is shallow, either through poor posture or general stress levels or dysfunction of the diaphragm can't move well, and this causes the neck muscles to have to work in order to create a lift in the upper ribs to allow that expansion, allowing the air to then flow into the lungs. This affects the position and tension on the upper ribs, and this creates tension and fatigue in the neck muscles. These neck muscles are meant to work for movement, not for breathing multiple times a minute. That's like 20,000 extra contractions a day in the wrong place. No wonder those muscles are getting thick and tight and fatigued and sore. When rotation is limited, the thoracic spine and ribs can't rotate properly together. This can be from tight rib muscles, tension in the lats or the lower traps, or poor posture. And then the neck has to do most of the twisting because you can't move your upper body. Over time, this creates asymmetry, joint compression, and muscle fatigue, as well as pain, especially when you're turning your head to, say, look into your blind spot. When side bending is restricted, if the thoracic spine and ribs don't side bend well together, through potentially overtrained lats and traps or through poor posture, your neck joints aim to take up this slack, causing further tension into the small muscles between each of the vertebrae. This, as well as tension in the muscles that move the neck, especially the scalenes, the sternocleidomastoid, the levator scap, and the upper traps. On top of this, the fascia connecting the rib cage to the upper body and the neck is all connected. So when one part is taut, the rest of it will become affected by all of this pulling and tension that is created throughout the fascia. And this reduces movement available in the whole neck as well as the rest of the body. And all of this will then create a further imbalance into the traps and levator scap and the deep neck muscles, as well as the cervical spine itself, creating further restricted movement, as well as joint compression or dysfunction, and irritation on the nerves. When lifting or reaching overhead, if the ribs are not sitting correctly, or if they don't slide and glide and rotate evenly and smoothly, the scapula, the shoulder blade, can't glide well over this base, and this affects the range of movement available at the shoulder and the neck. The neck and shoulder muscles, especially the levator scap and the traps, they all become tight. Deep muscles like serratus anterior and subscapularis, as well as torso movers, and those muscles into the side, like the lats, and the lower traps become tight as well. All this affects the ability of the rib cage to move, and thus breathing, neck mobility, general muscle tension, the ability to hold our head correctly, and thus posture, and shoulder function. Oversimplified, the neck and upper traps brace to stabilize, leading to overuse, pain, and stiffness. What about when posture collapses? If the muscles and joints of the rib cage, the shoulder, and the neck are no longer functioning well, the joints become restricted, the muscles become stiff, and movement is lost. The cervical spine also becomes compressed, reducing mobility further and increasing the risk of pain, nerve irritation, and disc injury. Plus, the body loses its ability to effectively stabilize the head, that large bowling ball on top of the spine, which is a little bit like a pile of small balancing rocks. This causes the shoulders to round, the lower neck to pull forwards and into a compression, and the upper neck to pull backwards, increasing the extension in the neck and compression at the base of the skull and into the top of the neck. This tightens the suboccipital muscles and irritates nerves going through this important and sensitive area, increasing the risk of headaches, brain fog, and jaw issues. All these compensations are aimed at stabilizing the head and keeping the eyes as level as possible to allow us to maintain our ability to see distance and perspective, helping us to survive. But just as the ribs affect the neck too will affect the ribs. When neck muscles become overactive, especially the scalenes, the sternocleidomastoid, the upper traps, generally from poor posture, weightlifting, incorrect exercise, or excess stress, they'll pull on the top two ribs, fixing them into a lifted or rotated position, altering the way that the rib cage can then move, and affects torso rotation and side bending, breathing mechanics, and it alters the loading of the spine, as well as shoulder position and shoulder mobility. Over time, this can then lead to increased tension in the intercostals and the diaphragm, reduced shoulder mobility, overhead function especially, a higher risk of shoulder impingement, rotator cuff injury, acromioclavicular joint issues, pain in the upper ribs, the neck, the shoulders, the jaw, and even the mid-back. And this isn't just about local pain, it's system-wide compensation. It can show up as headaches, jaw tension, TMJ pain, difficulty opening and closing your mouth properly, the sensation of not being able to breathe fully, general stress levels, and that anxiety sensation, clicking or catching in the shoulder, or pain that keeps moving from one area to another. So when you treat just the neck or just the shoulder without restoring rib function, it's like putting out a spot fire while the gas is still leaking. Understanding how the neck and the rib cage work together is key to lasting relief. This isn't about perfect posture or a quick fix. It's about resetting function where function has been lost, and letting each area of your body be able to do the job that it was designed to do, to work together in an integrated, comfortable way. If this has given you any aha moments, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear. And if you're ready to explore this for your own body, click the link below to book your whole body assessment. Or maybe you'd like to look into my Ribcage Reset mini course and work on your ribcage at home to create more movement, better muscle function, better breathing, and relief.
So that's it for today. Did it raise any questions or aha moments? If so, I'd love to hear them, so please put those in the comments section. I love answering questions. I hope you found today useful. And if you know someone who could use this information, please share it. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Until next time, and in health, bye for now.